Always great having my next guest on the show. It's Mando Gutierrez, who will be facing Cam Smotherman next November the 12th at Fury Challenger Series 10 for the bantamweight title. Mando, how are you?
I'm awesome, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. You're a busy guy, right? It's weight cut day. You have the ADCC East Coast Trials today, and then obviously, as I mentioned, you're fighting Cam for the title in November. Let's start first, just with the ADCC Trials. What is that going to entail? When are you competing?
I'm competing tomorrow and Sunday, God willing. Hopefully, I make it through the first day and get to make it to day two. But basically, bottom line is there's 256 guys here in my weight class, and everyone is gunning for that number one spot, which punches your ticket to the ADCC World Championships, which is the Super Bowl of Jiu-Jitsu and the biggest, most prestigious award in all the combat sports, or in all of Jiu-Jitsu and the grappling world.
I know I don't know a whole lot about this, so forgive me for my ignorance here. But is there like seedings? Do they have you guys ranked, and you and like it kind of goes on based on you advance to the following rounds?
Yeah, there is some seedings, for past placers, guys with real big names that are real big on the scene, and the guys that are competing the most under the ADCC banner, which they have a lot of opens around the country now, and those have been helping people score points and get that notoriety going into the big show. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't have a ranking simply because I'm the equivalent of the guy that lied on his resume and got the job anyway. So here we are. I consider myself one of the best grapplers in the world, and I'm here to prove that. Why not?
Is there someone that you're hoping that you compete against, that someone that you think may be like your toughest test?
Andrew DeGraff, I'll give him some love. He's a phenomenal talent. He's a super young dude, trains in the same gym as Gordon Ryan. We actually fought each other or competed against each other in the finals of Midwest Finishers in Chicago not that long ago, and he ended up winning the match, razor close. But I feel like I had the better of him, and I was doing the better work. It was just a sub only match, which means there's the only way you can win a submission or an overtime. So he ended up getting me in overtime, and I plan on evening out the score here. So here everyone's trying to make it. So we're here ready to roll the dice with the best in the world, man.
Nice, man. Well, best of skill at here the ADCC trials. Let's talk about your MMA journey. Obviously, everyone that follows the sport watches The Ultimate Fighter, especially when Conor McGregor is one of the coaches. And you were
Oh,
on
yeah.
this past season of TUF. The loss to Cody Gibson. I mean, a lot of people thought you might win the whole show. What was the learning lesson from that loss? What was your overall experience there?
To be honest, I learned an awful lot in that fight. I going into the show, knowing who the guys were that were going to be in the house, I had me and Cody in the finals. So I can't really beat myself up too bad on that fight simply because if I didn't beat him round one, I wasn't going to beat him in the final. So it wasn't going to make a whole lot of a difference on that night. He was the better guy. I felt like I fought a great fight. Obviously, there's things I could have changed and did better, but what can you really say when someone just throws a perfect shot? It is what it is in this game. Sometimes you have those Super Saiyan moments, those Hail Marys, something that just happens out of nowhere. And I think that's what that was. So it made the pill a little bit easier to swallow, but watching it back several times, there's still a lot of things that I needed to work on, a lot of things I could have did better in that fight to handle somebody like him who's been there against all the toughest guys and beat some really big names in the sport. So definitely, in my opinion, not my best performance, but it was the best that I've ever felt. It was my best preparation ever, and it's something that I was excited to build upon. So it's been a long time coming, but I'm glad that I finally get the chance to step back in there and show all the things that I've been working on and all the things I got out of the show and since then.
Yeah, man, can't wait to see you back in there competing against Cam. Obviously, Brad Katona beat Cody in the finale. What a fight that was! That was just an absolute spectacle. If you're a fan of combat sports, you had to love that fight. Were you surprised that Katona beat Cody?
Not necessarily, man. That was a toss-up fight. It's just a matter of who played their game better. Those are two big IQs, two really smart veterans of the game that have tough wins and both really tough fighters. So I think personally, it could have went either way, but it was impressive the way the fight went. I think Cody fought with a little bit too much emotion and didn't necessarily play his best cards, but he fought his ass off. They both did, and it was a phenomenal fight. It definitely the true winner that night was the fans.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, Cody definitely did not like Brad. Is Brad just did he just kind of pick at Cody, or is it was just like their personalities didn't mesh?
They were roommates, and just a lot of little things that Brad did that Cody just was not a fan of, and a lot of people would talk some shit to Cody, telling him he was just a grumpy old man. So it was just kind of funny, It was a clash of personalities, clash of a lot of things. But at the end of the day, they definitely did not like each other, and I knew that there was going to be a whole lot of bad blood going into that fight.
Are you keeping in touch with any of the guys from the show and maybe training with some now?
Absolutely. We actually have two separate group chats. We got a Team McGregor group chat and we got a Tough 31 group chat. So I keep in touch with pretty much everybody on the show. There's been a lot of guys that, I made lifelong friendships on that show, after all that time spending it together, secluded, cut off from the world for so long, you kind of just build relationships with these people because all you have is each other. So I came home with some lifelong friends, and I've been able to go see several of them, like Landon. I went down to go train with him down in Florida, actually right before he got the call to the UFC. So that was pretty cool. And then I got plans to go see some other ones of the homies here soon.
Obviously, Conor McGregor is the biggest name in all of combat sports. The guy just sells millions and millions upon pay-per-views just by him being addressed to any type of event. What was it like learning from him, having him as your coach, and building a relationship there?
It was great, man. He's actually such a good dude. He was super cool. I feel like the show, they almost had their own personal agenda, it seems like, because they made it seem like it was something it really wasn't. He was there for us. He gave us full access to his life, his world, all of his coaching staff, all of his resources. We had them all at our disposal. I think he was a phenomenal coach. Definitely not exactly the way that I'm used to training, but I took it with a grain of salt. Everything that he taught me, I made sure that I applied it and I learned from it. He has a lot of the same tools that I do, so I wanted to make sure that I learned from. I like pretty much just was all ears for the best southpaw that ever hit the UFC. Man, it's just a huge blessing to learn from him, and it was just the cherry on top was that he was actually a really cool ass person.
Is there like a different aura around him because he has so much swag? I have to imagine there's just like a different aura or something about him.
He's cool as hell. I mean, that's as simple as that, man. Cool as a cucumber everywhere he goes, man. He's just chilling. The biggest thing that changes is everybody around him. I think he's himself 24/7. He's always him. That's not an act, but he does know how to give the camera what it wants when it's time. But he's always tried and true McGregor. Always. The big difference is just everybody around him for the most part.
So the UFC cut ties with USADA. Now they're going to be joining with DFSI in 2024. This means, we might see McGregor back in action sooner rather than later. Do you think we're going to see a better version of Conor, a more evolved version when he does fight next?
The thing is, he was in there training with us, man. He's in shape. He's working hard. Definitely big though. Not gonna lie to you, he's a big boy, but he's up there, man. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't rule out a little 170 fight or something like that. But nonetheless, he's still the same Connor, still a unit, still going out there and putting people down. So I'm super excited to see him as a fan and as a friend. I'm super excited to see him back in the cage.
Yeah, can't wait to see him back in the cage. Can't wait to see you back in the cage. November 12th, again, Fury Challenger Series 10 goes down in Houston, Texas. It's a title fight. You're taking on Cam Smotherman. We just saw him in Contender Series. That fight didn't go his way. I thought maybe it could have been a little bit of an early stoppage. What do you think of this guy? What do you think of him as a fighter and what he brings to the table?
First things first, he's super, super active. So he definitely has my respect. He's built a crazy record fast and he's fought tough guys. He has big wins, and he has a lot of hype behind him. So it's the perfect way to put my name out there and my perfect way to state my claim to the UFC. The thing about him is I feel like he's super tough and talented, but I'm a terrible matchup for him, and I intend on proving that and showing the world that on fight night.
Do you feel like, obviously, with just your style, you said that you're a terrible matchup. You're just going to be able to kind of dictate the pace of the fight and where it goes?
Pace and pressure, man. Pace and pressure. That's what I always bring. That's what I'm all about. And I think that's just not exactly the most ideal situation for a counter striker.
Mm-hmm. How much
Now,
better?
nonetheless, I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a phenomenal striker. He's a phenomenal boxer. But I just have a whole lot of tools and a lot of things that I haven't even been able to or had the opportunity to show yet. So I intend on going out there and letting it rip full steam on somebody. So regardless of who I was stepping in there against in this next fight, I knew that I was going to bring the total package, and it's put up or shut up now. You know, this is I've had several opportunities, and I've been up to the big show twice now, and I haven't been able to make it happen. So, you know, my back is kind of against the wall, and that's a really dangerous place for me to be because I know what I'm capable of, and I know I can do it. So I have nothing left to lose. Him and I share the common. We both have a common characteristic that neither we both fell short on the contender series. So I know that we're both fighting with our hearts, and I just feel like I have the bigger one.
Do you think you get him out of there? What's your prediction here?
I definitely think I get him out of there, man. I'm coming for a finish, but nonetheless, I can't be fooled. It's his hometown, it's his home crowd, it's his home promotion. I know what this means, and I know what it takes to win, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I have to go out there and leave no doubts whatsoever because it's a real slippery slope when you go to somebody's backyard. I know where I'm stepping, I know what's happening, but I know what I'm capable of, and I can go out there and make it happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, right? I mean, you're in his backyard. If this does go to the judges, that could be a problem if it's a close fight because you just never know where they're leaning. And if he's the hometown guy, they could lean his way. Is that part of your thought process going into this fight?
Oh, absolutely, 100%, man. I'm not no dummy. I know what kind of fight I signed up for. Nonetheless, like regardless, he's a super tough fight, but he does have that little extra advantage of him being at home. But little does he know, I don't care. I don't give two shits about where we're at. To me, everywhere is my hometown. I'm bringing the party wherever I go, and I'm gonna roll the dice absolutely anywhere. It doesn't make a difference whether it's New Jersey, whether it's New York, whether it's Texas, whether it's California. I'm wherever, man, and I'm ready to go. So I think uh, it's going to be a great fight, and both of us are going to bring our A games. I just think that I'm the better man, and I'm going to go out there and show it.
Does a finish of Cam Smotherman and winning this title get you into the UFC?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it, man. This guy, he has a big name, a lot of hype behind him. A lot of people talk about him. There's going to be a ton of eyes on this fight. You saw it, man. All the reports that already came out, all these people are already chirping about it. So I have a feeling it's going to be a big one, and a lot of people are going to be tuned in. So a lot of people have interest in this fight, and I have a big interest in showing them that I'm the better man.
Is this the first long form interview you've done since the announcement?
Yeah, I haven't done any. I've been kind of staying away from the interviews as much, man, because they love you when you're up, man. But when you take a loss, all of a sudden things change. So I don't really do too many of these. But you know, I always got to come on for the homie.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's always great talking to you. I can't wait for this fight. It's definitely an absolute barn burner, and you better believe the UFC's eyeballs are going to be all over it. And the winner, I have to imagine, is getting right into the UFC. So excited to see you back in there, Mondo. Always great talking to you. I know it's weigh-in day for you, so I'll let you get out of here. But before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor as always. If there's anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, the floor is yours.
Absolutely, man. First and foremost, thank you, bro, for having me on, man. It's always cool to be able to hop on your show for a little bit. And shout out to all my sponsors, all my supporters, and everybody. Tune in November 12th, Fury FC Challenger Series, and watch me do my thing, man. It's going to be a great night, great fight, and I plan to state my claim. So hopefully everybody tunes in and sees the party themselves.